Hello, and welcome to Distillery Sessions, the podcast from Distillery. I'm your host, Peter Hoffer, and today I am joined by Chris Gale, CEO and co-founder of Viewworks. Now, Chris is a serial entrepreneur and investor with a passion for digital and advertising technologies. He was the founder and CEO of Odyssey Mobile and went on to launch and run Level Up, a video streaming platform specializing in gaming and eSports, which delivers video to over 30 million users. So with that, welcome to the podcast, Chris.
Hey, Peter, thanks for having me.
No, my pleasure. It's really excited to sort of chat with you and all about the interesting work that you're working on right now.
Yeah, it's great to have the opportunity to chat to you and run through. Just talking before it's end of the day here of the Friday and here in Singapore, where I'm based out of now, but had a number of years working in the UK building technology startups.
Yeah, and before we hit record, Chris told me he was disappointed that he was missing the rainy bank holiday weather coming up. So just,
yeah, nice and sunny here, and always hot in Singapore.
All right, so I guess Chris, could we kick off by learning a bit more about you and your role at Viewworks?
Sure thing. So yeah, we launched Viewworks last year. Was a solution to help conquer some problems businesses are facing with getting video seen and distributed to their fans, to their audiences, and to their potential customers. We all know that video is eating the internet and the most popular or the most powerful vehicle for selling goods and services. But it's very difficult to get users to engage and watch video. Plus, it's tend to be used very top of funnel and not a very good lead generation tool. And we wanted to reinvent the mechanism of how we can engage or enable brands and companies to engage with their fans and customers using video, using a value exchange mechanism. So that means that we can offer, the brands can offer a chance to reward their audience, their fans, or their customers for watching their attention and capturing their data directly.
And I know, we'll go into more details of the ins and outs of not just the technology, but also the industry views of using video, as you said. But you mentioned in previous conversations that it's been quite an exciting time for Viewworks of that entrepreneur stage of getting it off the ground. I guess my question for you, as I mentioned in the intro, that you're a serial entrepreneur, how have the last few months affected you as someone trying to grow a business?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it has been challenging times to say the least. We were just getting ready to launch the platform and in beta at the beginning of the year, and when everything started changing, clients and customers focuses shifted very quickly as they were contingency planning, and us ourselves as a young startup with minimum resources had to move quickly. From it was an interesting experience because, first of all, I built my first startup, Odyssey, back in 2008, which was just of the aftermath of the last recession. And that was at a time where we were pioneering mobile. So really I saw it as my experience from that was there was a great opportunity in a down market to build some new technology when you've got an opportunity to talk to established brands who are looking for new ways of doing things that they may not have been open to doing. And really coming back to this cycle and with the issues faced around lockdown, when we were presenting Viewworks to a number of customers, we found we were solving some problems and some new challenges that they were facing. So we then got able to be very nimble, move quite quickly, and focus some of our solutions to solve those newly found problems for some big enterprise clients.
Excellent. I think so. It sounds like you're quite the veteran of starting businesses when it's perhaps even more challenging for a normal business starting up.
I don't say I planned either time to start a business during these times, but it's actually worked out that way.
So you mentioned earlier that you know, Ollie, that the COVID situation presented opportunities for you and Viewworks when speaking with potential clients. Could you tell me a bit about the challenges they were facing that you found that you and the Viewworks team could help solve?
Sure. So from a B2B perspective, I'll start there, and then there's an interesting B2C direct to consumer perspective. But we found many sales teams that used to deal directly with media agencies and planners and buyers, and they weren't able to go and meet them face to face now. And that personal relationship and the ability to network at conferences and events were just evaporated overnight. So I know we're still not back to having face-to-face meetings in many markets, many countries around the world, and this presented a problem of how to cut through. And our solution really was to enable these sales leaders and sales teams to offer a recorded video, which they could pitch their products and services, long-form video. Doesn't need too much production value behind it. And then they can use the Viewworks player and platform to upload, let's say, a Deliveroo voucher, and then send it to their potential buyers, which is then a great way to connecting and getting through and bringing this personalization and human touch back to remote selling, where they are able to connect with, have a 10-minute presentation and pitch to their buyers, and buy them lunch, buy them dinner. It's like, thanks on behalf of our company. Here's a £10 voucher, $10 voucher, and that then creates really positive sentiment. You then clicking the buyers clicking through, and if that potential deal's worth hundreds of thousands, it's money well spent for our customers.
No, I think you really highlighted the point of I guess the evolution of face-to-face. So today in the news here in the UK, there's lots of discussions from the government of encouraging people to go back to work and go back to offices, but it just seems that it'll be quite a while before anything like that happens. So what you mentioned with Viewworks is perhaps businesses need to not see this as just a temporary thing, but perhaps a new evolution of how can people, particularly in a B2B environment, replicate that face to face.
Yeah, and what's actually become of the success of some of our early customers using this solution and this new way of selling, let's say, is that the efficiency, having the first meeting, let's call it, and the first pitch recorded using some simple software, uploaded to Viewworks and distributed to your client list, can add significant efficiency. So these sales reps are saying, well, I used to have 100 different calls, which I had to schedule, appoint, turn up to the office, get the tube, get taxis to, and it took me a long time to get to those 100 first meetings. Whereas actually by recording that meeting, that pitch, what I would be presenting in the meeting and distributing and tracking all the way through, I can then send that one link to 100 of my buyers, and I'm then saving 100 hours of efficiency to get to that close and to get to that second meeting, and much further down the funnel, much faster.
Yeah, I guess it is those hidden costs, as you say, not just monetary costs of traveling, but it's just the time to get from one place to another just for a single meeting, which for a first contact might not be the best sort of use of resource, whether it's money or time.
Indeed, and then you've got a much more qualified potential buyer or lead as well, because they've watched your products and services, and you've watched your pitch, and they know if it's relevant or not. So yeah, we've seen lots of early success and some great case studies, and then flipping onto the B2C side, where you've got a big shift that we've seen within the FMCG sector.
Yep.
And I know this is the same across the board, but traditionally, fast-moving consumer goods and brands have been very much using video as a top of funnel, just brand building, and not interested at all in capturing leads and data and information on their audiences, because they knew that their audiences would just go down to the shops and go and buy their products from the supermarket shelves, etc. Well, they found themselves with the lockdown and with COVID in a difficult position where lots of the shops were now closed, and they didn't have a direct to consumer sales approach. So they've been fast tracking their we've been noticing they've been fast tracking their strategies and bringing forward what was planned down the line in a few years to roll out imminently. And first party data and offering samples and coupons for their products and clicking through to buy those products directly through their own shop, online shops, has become a really key strategy for a lot of these companies.
Now, I guess, like with the B2B example we chatted earlier of, B2C, because of COVID, because of people's, changing shopping habits, that they're, perhaps shopping online more, or if they go in store, it's in and out. They're not going to sort of, stick around. So it's, I guess, you helping, traditional FMCGs to really, I guess, be smarter as we go through this long transition period of us getting back to normal.
Yeah, indeed. And we have lots of other use cases. It's interesting in the UK. I know here in Singapore, masks are now totally compulsory. Everybody's wearing them out. You have to wear them outside. Is it same in the UK now? Is they having to wear masks in shops?
Yeah, it's wearing masks pretty much all indoor. So not just stores, but now it's expanded to theaters, museums. There's ongoing discussions with schools. So it's I think it's the public is being educated of this is how it's going to be for quite a while.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly it changes, because I remember from being used to wearing masks here in Singapore now for 4 months or so, 5 months or so, which was very strange at the beginning. I was on a call, totally forgot, got into my Uber, turned up to a bar to meet a potential customer, and realized that I'd forgotten my mask, and I was absolutely horrified with myself and had to cover shield my face and run to the nearest store to buy. But it's amazing how it started off very strange 5 months ago, me getting used to wearing a mask, and now it's very strange being out without a mask.
The opposite, yeah. So we've with the B2B example, B2C example, I'm interested to hear perhaps another angle of now that all of us are working from home, or we're quite geographically dispersed when it comes to us being as employees of, are there ways that Viewworks can help out, perhaps from an internal comms perspective or a HR perspective, when really engaging with everyone who's perhaps working from home?
Yeah, that's an excellent use case, and I think we've heard the term Zoom gloom and doom mentioned a few times, where everybody's just face planted in their computer screen, and really, it's hard to stay motivated working from home in this environment, and it's hard to then have that personal connection between not only your teammates but your leadership. And obviously, businesses are changing, and it's important as ever to keep communication strong with your stakeholders and employees. And we've been seeing use cases of business leaders and CEOs recording videos from home, motivating their staff, updating their teams of business progress and changes, and really help get these messages across. And they've previously been doing it on, say, YouTube and sending it out to their team, but they have no idea who's actually watching. They get the overall views, but that's the only overall data that you're getting. Whereas what you are able to do with Viewworks is then reward your teams. So we've been seeing as instead of buying a pizza on a Friday afternoon or taking your team out to the pub for drinks at the end of a good month. That isn't happening anymore, and that is super important for morale. So we've seen a nice shift into using leadership within the business, recording long form messages, motivating their staff, and then rewarding them for watching the video, but with, again, Deliveroo vouchers, with high street vouchers, with rewards. So that's another very nice use case, and the HR team can track exactly who's watching which videos. And again, it's same for training as well. If you're wanting to train staff, you can actually track fully what's going on, who is watching which videos, when and where.
Yeah, no, I guess that's where the added bonus of the importance of data, because, as we said, perhaps CEO might just bang up a video on YouTube and all you get is views, but with something with richer data, you could see exactly specific departments who are watching or perhaps aren't watching, that perhaps need a bit more motivation or a bit more attention or more content that would build up their engagement levels to match the rest of the company.
Indeed, and if they know that they can get away with not watching it because YouTube, they know that their HR and their bosses can't see. There's both a carrot and a bit of a stick with this solution. Yes. With rich data, because you're getting the carrot in terms of a nice Deliveroo voucher and dinner on the company. But the stick is that if you don't watch the video, you're not going to be picked up into the system, and you're going to stand out as them knowing that you've not been watching it.
Now, I have just a couple questions when it comes to rewards. So you've mentioned a few examples of, a salesperson could, treat a prospective prospect to dinner, or rewarding employees with vouchers. Do rewards necessarily have to be, a monetary or prize thing, or have you seen other examples of rewards that companies can use to reward fans?
Sure. So I'll just start off with mentioning the very different or very unique element of our, say, video gratification platform versus other more traditional rewards models, is that we are like a white label, custom branded solution for companies to use, and they can bring their own rewards, whatever it may be. So it's different to some more traditional, come and watch these videos, and if you watch 1,000 videos, you get Amazon vouchers at the end of it. We're very, very different from that model, which I just wanted to point out, because then it enables businesses to be creative and link the rewards exactly to the objective of their campaign and to their audience. So what that means is that you can structure rewards as money off coupons. So imagine if you've got a SaaS technology platform that's quite complex to use, and you need a 10-minute explainer video explaining how the platform can really help make your life, Peter, better. And if you have your time, if you spend your time, invest your 10 minutes to learn about how this technology can help you, you can get a 20% discount at checkout, for example. So that's one very popular, say, it's discounted rather than monetary and buy dinner. But what's been really, and that's can be seen the same as content as well. So what's traditionally lead magnets or exclusive content can also be used very easily as a reward and as a perk within the platform. So if you watch this video, we'll also give you the cheat sheet as a reward at the end, or an exclusive behind the scenes footage from a movie release. And the other interesting area that we've started to see grow is linking to charity and CSR. So if you don't want to be giving monetary rewards away, and you as a business are supporting local charity or even international charity, you can donate to the charity based on the engagement and the views. So some example, one of our partners that we've been running some campaigns with, it's called One Tree Planted. So for they'll plant a tree for $1 somewhere in the world, and you can choose which rainforest you want to help replete. And so you can offer some nice campaigns such as, if you watch our video and claim, we will plant a tree on your behalf. So it's adding some nice CSR to and additional branding to the company's messaging.
Yeah, no, I think that's that wide range, I think, which leads to my next question of, have you perhaps met companies who are a bit, concerned of offering, rewards of, vouchers that they perhaps are concerned of will just get people perhaps gaming the system they come to watch just for the prize, but perhaps this wide range can help, alleviate those concerns.
Yeah, no, that is a concern, because there is a stigma in the market, and rightly so, for what's called incentivized, which is really rewarding people to do micro tasks, let's say. But again, another big difference with the Viewworks platform is that we are not in control of where the videos appear. And so we are just a tool that wraps your YouTube or Vimeo URL, which means you can embed it on your website, and you can run across your own social media, and you're in charge as the company. You send it as a very bespoke, personalized message on email or WhatsApp. So it can be very, very targeted. So it's not like one person can come and watch a whole bunch of videos just to get the rewards. It's not like a website where you can come to then watch a load of different companies and be gamified that way. So that addresses the initial concern, and our leadership team have got experience within the more traditional rewarded video model of play this game on your app, and you're getting free coins for them watching, let's say, ads from advertisers. We reversed the model on its head and given all the power to the company and to the brands, that they get to decide what the reward is. They own the data now, which they never did beforehand. And they get to control where the videos are distributed and where they're seen. And we are just the technology that enables them to track and measure and distribute. So that then enables you to be much more controlled. And we do have mechanisms within the software itself which can help stop the gamification. So you can't claim more than once. We're tracking to make sure that you're a unique IP and user, as well as then having some additional steps in the reclaim and redeem process, which just makes sure that you're qualified as the potential customer.
Indeed. And I think, in my previous life, I was managed these communities for tech companies and telecom companies. And, part of the way we would reward people for taking part was not a sort of steering away from the traditional voucher, but giving sort of exclusive access. So I remember I was managing a community for IT managers, and they don't need high street vouchers, but what they really gravitated towards was an invitation to a roundtable discussion from people higher up in a tech company. So it's perhaps, again, that's another way to really attract the best, most qualified fans, so to speak, for certain content, if you are gearing your rewards to what they need. That's
a great example, and we've actually seen a customer using it that exact reason, where you get a VIP access to a developer conference that they host every year. And so if you're not a developer and a techie, then you'd have no interest in actually attending a developer conference. And so then you can be very, very highly targeted, linking the reward to the user base. And yet all that is available within the platform. And it's interesting, I think, also just touching on the point you mentioned, out here in Asia and Singapore, I see it even more so, but the loyalty points, rewards, free stuff here is very, very powerful. And it's amazing. You see, it doesn't matter, let's say, what level of position you are in how much money you make. Everybody, especially younger Gen Z millennials, have got very much a money saving and voucher driven passion of wanting to get something for free. Even at senior level, senior positions in companies will want to be signing up for for saving a few dollars here and there on every different outlet that you see here in Singapore.
Hmm. No, it's hard to pass up a bargain.
Yeah. And I think I think the IAB have been doing a lot of work around this value exchange as a marketing strategy, which is really pushing companies or looking at companies and how they use referral points. So if Revolut, for example, if I were to refer you to come and join the Revolut brand, I would get £50, you would get £50. And loyalty points within. You said you've got experience with telcos. Once you're in this community and as a customer, you can get money off your Netflix or your Spotify account. I know Vodafone does a lot of those cross partnerships. So what that is meaning is that there's this new expectation amongst customers of, okay, well me as a customer is valuable to your business. What are you going to do for me in return? What am I going to get for my attention? Now people realize that their data on Facebook and Google is more valuable than they historically thought so. And now they're, especially again, younger, digital savvy, digital first consumers are wanting to get some value back from their attention and their data.
Yes, no, fans are definitely becoming more savvy in just how valued they are, because particularly with an industry like telco, they could easily go from one brand to the other. Does this does the rise of savviness within fans, is that forcing the companies that you're speaking with to really reassess their relationship with their fans? And if so, how is that how have those conversations been that you've been a part of?
Very much so on the advertising lead generation side. I think what they're seeing is that they know that video is super important and investing more and more in online video advertising, but are struggling to see the return on the investment, because video is very traditionally doesn't generate a lot of leads and is used as more so branding. And a lot of the video formats that you see online, such as YouTube, you can skip after 5 seconds, and no matter how good the video ad is, everybody's skipping after 5 seconds. And our attention span as consumers, just being bombarded by messages on a daily basis across social media, our attention spans seem to be getting shorter and shorter. We're not reading anything anymore. And it's hard for us to really stick in and watch a video all the way through, let alone then say signing up. So brands have been seeing their click-through rates and engagement rates dropping, and are very interested in new mechanisms to then try and reverse that and complete that. And that's why they're very interested in this concept to help get better media metrics by offering some sort of value in exchange for that attention.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's an ongoing thing. I think not just with the evolving technology, but where we are with COVID and different ways of working, of companies just needing to be quite nimble and perhaps shifting away from that traditional doing what they've always done, because it's what's been always done.
Yeah, it's there's two interesting points on that. And I think really video is being democratized in a way of, it used to be, and not that long ago, speaking to businesses, we'd ask about video and they say, oh, we're B2B, we don't do video. Videos for 30-second TV ads that companies like Disney and General Motors should be doing. Whereas that's changed very quickly, and now producing content is much more open and accessible. And then the cost of production as well is often coming down with new technologies and new opportunities that we're seeing. So it's less of a barrier that's been traditionally there of, oh, we don't do video because we're not a big B2C company and we don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars for producing video. And then during lockdown, you're now used to, or people from a B2B perspective are used to using video on video calls like Zoom, but also used to then seeing their CEO and their leaders having their kids running around behind them, playing and dressed down, working from home. It's become much more personalized and humanized. And so I think that's lowered the barrier as well, where people can realize that they could be using video in a whole new mannerism and mechanism than what they ever thought of before.
Indeed. No, I've seen quite a few living rooms and home offices in the last few months. So I think, I guess my last big question for you is, what are the next big goals for Viewworks, not just for the rest of 2020, but ideally post-pandemic? What are the big goals?
Good question. So big goals for us is to continue to grow use cases on our platform and really scale our platform. We're a fairly small team and new technology. We've been seeing some great results. We're just taking the platform to the next level now, which means raising some more capital, expanding our teams, launching in the US, which is on the horizon, and then really going from there. And the overall bigger goal is, helping businesses communicate, helping businesses generate new leads and sales using our technology, and really, going from there.
Going from there, and perhaps in your next venture, there won't be another downturn, pandemic, natural disaster. So before I let you go, I have a few quick fire questions that I hope you could answer. This is a few questions that I ask all of our podcast guests. So the first one I have is, what's the last thing you recommended to a friend or family member? Now, this could be like a new TV show, a band, a recipe.
Well, as we're doing a podcast, I'll have to actually, which is true, the last thing I recommend is Tim Ferriss, and not just to the last thing I recommend, but to lots of acquaintances, friends and families. But he has an excellent podcast, and I've been following him for many years, and I've learned so much. And what's really good is it spans all different warps of sectors, industries, and disciplines too. So yeah, he's been an excellent podcast, which I recommend to people.
Fantastic. And what are you a fan of that might surprise most people?
Tough one. So I'm a sailor. I'm into my sailing, and I've actually got a skipper's license, coastal skipper's license, which often surprises people when I tell them that.
So another hidden talent.
When there's another pandemic, I can just sail away. It's the only way I'm going to get out of Singapore at the moment, because it seems to be like we're going to be locked down and not able to leave forever.
All right. So final question so if people wanted to get in contact with you, what's the best way?
I'm on LinkedIn. Message me there, Chris Gale, or you can email me at chris@Viewworks, which is VIEWORKS.io, and you can reach me there.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, Chris, for starting your weekend off with chatting with me on this podcast.
Yeah, this has been great fun. Thank you very much, Peter.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. Now, if you want to follow Distillery on our socials, we are @WeAreDistillery, and we look forward to welcoming you to our next episode soon. Thanks, everyone.